Hey guys, Jamie from Be Kind Family Farm. I hope that you can see me. I'm using like a makeshift tripod to do this. So we're just going to do the best we can. So today I was going to talk about pressure canning chicken stock. I know a lot of you had asked about pressure canning as opposed to water bath canning. Certain things need to be water bath canned and certain things need to be pressure canned. Chicken stock or bone broth needs to be pressure canned. So don't throw those chicken bones away. You can make chicken broth and you can go ahead and can it and keep it in your cellar for a long time. Not that it lasts that long because you'll use it up in recipes. It's excellent for so many things. So what you need are, obviously, I've got some chicken bones here that I'm going to put in water. This is about 6 quarts. I think it's a 6-quart pot. So go ahead and fill it up almost, about an inch from the top, and throw your chicken bones in, your chicken carcass. This is our last chicken, farm raised, and we have about 12 more we'll be processing in about 2 weeks, so no worries. You can use store-bought chicken. Farm raised is just, I think, has the best flavor, but I mean, if you buy a chicken from the store and you want to make chicken stock with those bones, that's perfectly fine. So go ahead and put your chicken bones in the water, and then a few pieces of celery. Take it up. 1 small onion. Throw that in there. A little bit of salt. You can add it as you go. I don't measure. I'm not a measurer. They call for peppercorns in a lot of recipes, but I just use black pepper. If you have peppercorns, go ahead and use those. Some pepper. And if you have bay leaf, put a sprig or 2 of bay leaf in it. I don't have any, and we're just working with what we have. Honestly, if you don't have celery or onion either, you could just go ahead and simmer down the bones. The onion and the celery and the bay leaf just give it, more flavor. So now what you want to do is take this over to your stove, which I'm going to do over here. You won't be able to see. I'm going to put it on, turn it on. So I have it on high. I'll keep it on high until it comes to a boil, and then I'll turn it down to like low, and I'll go ahead and let that simmer. I'll show you in a second here, for about, I'd say about an hour at least or so. And then you can go ahead and sample it and see if it's, the taste that you want. And then you can cook it down more, or you can add more water till you get it how you want it. So I'll go ahead and show you here. There you go. There you've got your beautiful chicken stock ready to go. So we'll go ahead and let this cook down, and then we'll be back. Hey guys, so we're back. Okay. My chicken stock has been simmering about an hour and a half, and it is ready. And I'll go ahead and bring it over here. So I don't know if you can see it, but here it is. I'll go ahead and bring the camera over here and zoom in, but I went ahead, so once it was done, you want to, let's see, where did I put? You want to get like a strainer or like some kind of, here it is, some kind of colander like this, and strain out your carcass and then all the little bits and pieces here, and get it out so you just have the stock left. So let's talk a little bit about pressure canning. Now, for pressure canning, it's not a pressure cooker, it's a pressure canner. They are 2 totally different things. And it's also different than a water bath canner. So you can get a pressure canner at Walmart. I think you can get a cheap one for about $70 or so. I use a weighted gauge canner. So if I can find, and pretty much there are 2 different kinds. There's a weighted gauge, and then there's a pressure gauge canner. Now the pressure gauge canner is probably a little more accurate, but the weighted gauge is pretty prehistoric and simple. It just requires this weight, so it can't really break. The only thing you ever need to replace on your canner is probably like your seal, the rubber seal or something like that. But other than that, you're probably pretty good. So you can find those online. It is a pressure canner, not a pressure cooker. All right, so another thing, let me turn this down here. So just basics, things that you'll need. So you'll need your pressure canner. You can get these little kits at Walmart. They give you a little magnet, your jar grabber, your little funnel, and then this little guy here which measures your headspace on your jars. Different things require different headspace. So you can get, I think it's like $8 or $9. You get the whole little kit. You can get it in the canning section where you get your jars and all that stuff. So you need that, and then of course you'll need jars and lids and rings. So what you want to do first when you are canning is you want to wash all your jars in hot soapy water, the jars and the lids. Being sanitary and sterile when canning is probably the most important thing. So I washed all my jars in hot soapy water, and then I took them over to my canner, and I'll go ahead and show you. I'll bring the camera over there. And then I have this on. So when you're pressure canning, you only put about 2 inches of water in there. You don't fill it up like you do with water baths. So I have my jars in there. You can see in really, hot, not boiling, but hot water until I'm ready to use them. Same with your lids and your rings, but you do not want to boil these, okay? If you boil them, the lids will be no good. They'll seal when they're not on the jars, and you'll need to use new ones. So you just want to keep them really nice and warm, nice and hot. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, and I'll show you, here's the chicken stock. It tastes good, I tried it. Let me set this back up here. I need to get a tripod. This is less than ideal, but we're working with it. Okay, so I'm gonna start bringing my jars over here. Taking them out of the canner. Wish I could bring you with me, but we're just gonna have to do it like this. One. And when you're, once you take all your carcass and all the extras out of your chicken broth and you have just the broth, you want to bring that back to a boil before you use it, which I did. These jars are nice and hot. This is why this is great. So you should get about 4 or 5 pints out of this. I like to do pints. Quarts just seem like a bit much for recipes, and jelly jars are just too small. Okay, so you've got this, and then I like to take, like before I use stuff, I like to take this, and I think this is tipping a little bit. I'm sorry. I like to dip this in the hot water. I like to continuously keep everything sterile. So I'll dip this in the water. And then I'll go ahead and fill my jars. And I still have the water going in the pressure canner. This is really light. I probably could have cooked this down a little bit more, but that's okay. Fill them up, and I think chicken stock is 1 inch headspace, so we'll check that in a minute. I'm making a mess. I'm really good at making a mess. Ask my husband. Okay. Yeah, we'll get about 5. Like I said, I could have cooked it down a little bit more. Probably would have only gotten 4 pints, but it would have been a little more flavorful, but that's okay. It's still pretty good. I tried it. Seemed good enough to me. And then And there'll be a little bit extra left over, and I'll probably just put that in a bowl and enjoy that. Alright, so once you have your jars filled, you want to take a towel or a paper towel or something like that. Actually, I like to take this little guy here and kind of go around once in the jars, get any air pockets up, and then you want to measure, make sure you have about 1 inch head space, which is all pretty good. That one's a little high, but never had any issues. So then you want to just wipe any debris or liquid off the rim here, because it'll prevent it from sealing and you won't get a good seal. So you do that, then you go over and get your lids, and then you've got your little lid grabber here, which is great because these are really hot. Set them on like so. Okay, and then you're just going to go ahead and put your rings on. Whew, it's hot. Gotta be quick. And I'm 1 lid short, but that's, or 1 ring short, but that's okay, we'll do that later. So now I'm going to bring them over into the canner, put them in the canner, put the lid on, and then I'll go ahead and I'll come back in a minute and we'll talk more about that. Okay guys, really quick, I have put my jars in there. The water's getting pretty hot. And then I'm going to show you some things here real quick. Hopefully I'm not crooked. Okay. And I don't want this camera to fall. Alright, so I've got my jars in here, and I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on. It kind of locks on. You just match up the arrows, which here. And like so. Okay, so now that you have it like that, you're going to wait for the pressure canner to, I think they call it, to exhaust for 10 minutes. So this little guy here, I don't know if you can see it, it's like a little metal thing that will pop up. Once that pops up and steam starts exhausting through here, we're going to go ahead and let that exhaust. You have to let it exhaust for 10 minutes. And then once that happens, we will go ahead and put the weight on, and I will talk a little more about that, and then we'll be pretty much on our way. All right.